Hey everybody, welcome to your WOD Brief for Friday, April 10th, 2020. Your warm-up today is going to start off with a 5-minute timer where you're going to work through 10 sit-ups, 10 glute bridges, and 10 lunges with a twist. For your sit-ups, you can use an ab mat. If you don't have an ab mat, a rolled up towel or a small throw pillow can be great for some lumbar support if you need it. Remember, we want to butterfly our legs for these sit-ups. We'll touch our shoulder blades to the ground. Sit all the way up so that the shoulders are in front of the hips. After 10 of those, you'll move on to 10 glute bridges. You'll want to take out the ab mat or the pillow for that. Feet are going to be slightly wider than our hips. We're going to keep our knees out, not letting them cave in towards the middle. We're going to drive the hips up, rolling the pelvis, and then rocking the torso up onto the shoulder blades and come back down. After 10 of those, you're going to do lunges with a twist. So lunges with a twist, you're going to take your normal lunge step. This back knee is going to touch the ground. We're still working on that open hip here. And in fact, we're going to add in a rotation away from the back leg, or rather towards the front side. So if my left leg is forward, I'm going to rotate to the left, and then I'll come back. That's one, right leg out, knee down, open hip, rotate, 2, 3, and so on. Once you finish 10 of those, you go back to sit-ups, glute bridges, lunges with a twist. You'll be working through that for 5 minutes. For mobility today, we're going to be doing some hip extension work. So think single leg flexion type stuff, but instead of working on dropping down, I'm actually working on just driving this hip open towards the floor, right? So we're going to spend about 2 minutes on each side for this. So we'll do the right, and then we'll do the left. And then from there, we're going to work on some bent arm or short lever things for our overhead position. You'll need some type of upright to grab onto. We have a squat rack, but if you've got a door frame, that works well. So you're going to go overhead with your hand. You're going to grab around the top of the head level, and I'm going to kind of lean into this, right? So I'm pulling my torso away from my hand, but on top of that, I'm going to use my other arm to keep this elbow in close, right? In the gym, we use bands to assist with this position, so it's kind of going to be on you to hold your elbow in close to your head as you lean into this stretch. Again, we'll do 2 minutes per side with that. Then we're going to do an EMOM. It's going to be 3 different stations, 5 rounds through, so 15-minute EMOM. In each station, you're going to work for 45 seconds, and that'll build in a 15-second transition. So the very first station is going to be a double dumbbell swing. You'll hold on to 2 dumbbells by the handle. Legs will be slightly wider than maybe what you're used to, so you can fit both of these through, and you can go Russian swing or overhead, depending on your confidence in the movement, range of motion, and the load that you have to move. Then you're going to do 45 seconds of a dumbbell front rack hold. We're really just talking about this position here, but we want it to be active. So I'm going to screw my feet into the ground, my belly's tight, my ribs are down, I'm not letting myself hang out on my spine. I'm engaged through the core, and then I'm keeping my elbows up and my shoulders slightly protracted. So this is an active 45-second hold. The third station is going to be heel taps over a dumbbell. You'll just need 1 dumbbell for this, set on the ground so that it's it's on its end like this. I'm going to have a seat. I'm going to pick my feet up, go over, come down, and just repeat this movement for 45 seconds. Now, if you need to make that easier, we can always lower the dumbbell down, just like that. After 5 rounds of that, right, 15-minute EMOM, 45 seconds at each of those stations, we're going to work through some AMRAPs. And these AMRAPs are really, really short, and so we want to see lots of fast movement. Each AMRAP is going to be 3 minutes long. It's going to start off with a shuttle sprint. So you're going to start off with a 40-meter shuttle sprint broken into 10-meter chunks. For those of you that were on my session the other day, we talked about how to figure your pace for 100 meters. And so if you just divide that by 10, you're looking about 6 to 7 paces to get 10 meters. Remember, when we talk about a pace, we're going to pick a pace leg. I like to use my right. I'm going to step, and that's 1. Step, and that's 2, and so on. So every time my right leg hits the ground, and these are just normal walking steps. If you've got a way to measure distance, that's going to be your most accurate, but paces will get you close. So you're going to pace out 6 to 7 steps, and that's your 10-meter stretch. So you're going to go out and back and out and back, and there's your 40-meter shuttle run. And then you'll have 30 single unders. So if you've got a jump rope, or even just the length of rope, 1 hop per rotation. If you don't have that, you can just do some penguin hops. So in a penguin hop, I'm going to hop up and I'm going to strum my pockets, right? If you've ever seen anybody play guitar, there's this kind of wrist flick strumming motion that they do. I'm just doing that right across my seam of my pants every time I leave the ground. And that's going to help me keep my timing and everything for my double unders, because essentially when I'm doing my rope rotations, the movement is very similar and the timing is very similar. So again, 3 minutes of a 40-meter shuttle sprint, and then 30 single unders. Repeating that as many times as I can. At the end of 3 minutes, I'm going to rest for a minute. Now we get to our second AMRAP. Our second AMRAP has the same shuttle run to start off, but then it's got 5 one or single dumbbell front squats. So I'm going to do my 40-meter shuttle run, and I'm going to do 5 dumbbell front squats. And now this is with a single dumbbell. So you have a few options. We can pull it up to the shoulder and hang out in our traditional dumbbell front rack position. But of course, I'm only going to get 5 on one side. And then next round, I can do the other side, and I'll just alternate back and forth like that. Or you can go with this cross arm front rack position, where the dumbbell is sitting up on my shoulders. The handle is actually right, kind of touching the skin on the front of my throat. And then these arms are just going to cross over, and I keep my elbows nice and high during this because we don't want the dumbbell to fall down. Remember, we're not trying to turn it into a goblet squat. So AMRAP 2, 3 minutes again, 40-meter shuttle sprint, 5 front squats, as many times as you can. At the end of 3 minutes, you get a 1-minute rest. We go back to the first AMRAP, 3 minutes, 40-meter shuttle sprint, 30 single unders, a minute rest, and we finish with a final AMRAP, 3 minutes, 40-meter shuttle sprint, 5 one dumbbell front squat. After all that's completed, you'll tally up each of your rounds, and if you want, you can post your scores underneath this video. See you next time.